Get started very soon. You might want to just give yourself a little sway, a little shoulder roll, a little shimmy. Exciting times. All right, that's us getting started. So if you want to come on down and come up to a standing position, we'll get started there. So standing position, thinking about the second toes pointing forwards, the outer edges of the feet roughly in a line. Thinking about crown of the head reaching tall, opening the palms out towards the front of the room. So you're finding that slight external rotation through the chest. So stretching out through the chest. Noticing if you tend to stick the bum out behind you a little bit, or if you tend to slump into the pelvis, and just thinking about starting to engage the core, starting to find something towards a neutral pelvis. So trying to avoid a little stick out of the bum and trying to avoid any slumping. Just thinking about finding that strong core, shoulders down the back, and just taking a few deep breaths in and out here. So just a few deep inhales, exhales. Just thinking about settling into a nice steady rhythm with the breath. Shoulders relaxing on the exhale. One more here, really deep inhale. Exhale. Perfect. From there, we're just going to bring the hands out in front of us. We're going to take a few little and float up high on the toes. And then we're going to lower the hands and the heels at once. So moving into a little moving balance. So inhale, floating up high on the toes, shoulders back, strong core. Exhaling down. So just flowing up, inhaling. Exhaling, just warming up into the body, warming up into the spine. Feel that core engage as you lift and lower. Perfect. We're just going to work here for another 3. Inhaling. Exhaling, so starting to feel some strength in the calves, in the abdominals. 2. Inhale. Exhale down. One more time. Inhale, floating up. Exhale, release. From there, we're going to move straight into our first move. So we're going to take a wide squat. So we're going to take the feet slightly wider than normal and take the fingertips to the temples. So we're coming into what we call a prison squat. So the knees are going to track over the ankles. We're going to sink down low. And then we're just going to come on up. So shoulders are down the back, the core is engaged, sticking the hips out behind you. So if you notice what's going on with my knees here, you don't want the knees to be moving forwards so much as the hips coming back. So we're going to slowly lower and slowly lift. Really feeling the squeeze of the glutes and the legs power up as you lift and lower. Thinking about keeping the chest upright as much as you can, trying not to lean forwards. All right, option to stay there. Option, if you're feeling it, you can add it in a little twist. So we're going to power on up, and we're going to take opposite elbow to knee, standing crunch. So coming on down, squeezing glutes, working to lower body, moving balance, standing crunch. So we're lowering with control, squeezing the core to lift. Oh, falling over, opposite elbow to knee. So these are moving balances. The idea is to move with control. A really great skill to develop. So lowering down, squeezing the core, squeezing the abs, lift and crunch, working into the abdominals, the obliques. If you want to take it further again, we can twist, and then from there you can extend the arms and the legs, hold that balance a little while, fingertips back to the temples, sinking low. So squeezing, you can take opposite elbow to knee, hold that balance, see if you can spend a little longer in that balance, try not to lean backwards, and extend. So keep that control in the squat. Try and keep that control in the twist and maybe extend. So we're working on balance here, working on lower body strength, working on abdominal strength, getting a nice little twist through the spine here. Thinking about finding the breath, starting to warm up the body as well. Awesome stuff. We're going to work here for just another 5. So squeeze and maybe extend 4. Remember, you're always welcome to switch around between levels in Pilates. Just work at your level, focus on controlled, deliberate movements. 3. Well done. 2. Maybe taking it further. 1 more, make sure you're even on both sides. And release there, well done. Give yourself a little shake out. From there, we're going to take it into a lateral lunge, so we can continue to work lower body and balance. So taking your left foot into the center of the mat, you're going to step out with the right foot, bring the hands to heart center, and then you just step back, hands come down by the sides. So then stepping out to the right, so we're leaning into one leg, feeling that stretch down the inside of the extended leg, and then feeling that power to move back to center. So it's a little bit of a stretch, and then you really have to power into both legs to control that movement back to center. Again, we're making sure the knee isn't knocking too far forwards, the hips are coming out behind us, and we're keeping length in the spine. Option to stay there. Option to add in a balance, so we're going to come up, drive the knee up, and return through center. So the right foot is in the center of the mat, the left foot comes out, and then we're going to move straight from that lateral lunge, hands come behind us, knee in the air. So here we're working into a balance. Again, it's a bit of a crunching movement as we drive knee to chest. So moving balance, as well as working on flexibility and that lower body strength. When you come up through center, remember you're thinking about posture, you're thinking about that long spine. You're thinking about the core staying engaged. So any balance work is really great for the abs. So a really nice way to not only work on balance, a really important skill to develop for injury prevention, and also working on abdominal strength. Balance is, of course, also fantastic for building leg strength. So we're just moving slowly with control. Remember, it's the abdominals that are really going to help you with balance. Balances are all about the abs, really. So focus on that strong standing leg, but also keeping the core engaged. Remember to breathe. We are moving a little bit faster in this first section, building up some heat. Working here for 5. So squeeze to lift. Well done. Stepping out wide, 4. Really focusing on power, shoulders back, 3. Nice work. 2. Make sure you're even on both sides. And 1. Awesome stuff. From there, come on up, give yourself a little shakeroo. Hopefully feeling a little bit warmer now. We're going to roll on down, plant the hands, walk the feet back, and find your way into a plank pose. So plank pose, hands are underneath the shoulders. Thinking about spreading the fingers out wide, making sure you're pressing hard into the fingertips, into the second knuckles. Press really hard with the hands so the shoulder blades are coming apart, the core is engaged, the spine is long, maybe just shimmying the toes back a bit so you're right on the tips of the toes and the heels can be pressing back over the toes. Deep breaths in and out. Working here for 5, inhaling. Exhaling, so just taking this static hold, starting to build up heat. This little section we're working full body, focusing on arms, on abdominals, and a little bit of lower body as well. 4, deep breaths in, and out. Really focus on pressing the floor away from you. 3, inhaling, exhaling, focus on that breath. 2, and 1, dropping down to the knees there. So we're going to make our little Superman exercise from here. So thinking about finding that long spine, shoulders down the back, pressing really hard with the hands into the mat. From there, we're going to extend the left toes and the right arm away from each other. And you might just return them back down. And then take left arm and right foot away and return back down. So that's level 1. You're just keeping the core engaged. You're working on balance, as well as, of course, working on abdominal and arm strength. If you want to take it further, you can extend and then take a knee to elbow drive, extend and return. So you're very welcome to work there. Thinking about squeezing in, we're getting some work for the abs, extending, finding that balance. So very welcome to stay working there. If you're feeling strong, you might have a little play working from a plank. So again, you might just be extending arm and leg, trying as much as you can to keep the hips down in line with the shoulders, trying not to wiggle from side to side. Thinking about moving with control. Option to stay there. Option to maybe take it, she says, wobbling into a knee drive if you are feeling super strong this morning. So remember, you're moving slowly with control. Focus on the muscles that are working. Use the glutes to help you out with that extension of the leg. Use the abs to drive in. Use the abs to control that balance. So just keep it slow. Take it at speed where you can find that control. Really squeeze as much as you can, keeping the hips neutral. Awesome. Remember, you can welcome to switch around between levels anytime. The idea with Pilates is we are working at a level that suits us, where we can keep control. Remember, Keep that breath flowing as well. Working here for another 5. So extend, maybe a little drive in. 4. Well done. Almost there. 3. 2. And 1. Come back to the knees there. Well done. From there, drop the knees, hips down towards the heels. Taking the hands to the knees, I'm just going to take a nice little mobilization exercise. So we're going to take the hands to the knees to start off with. We're going to inhale, take the arms out wide, squeeze the core. Exhale there, squeeze the glutes. Inhale, return back through center. So palms to the knees. We're going to inhale, exhale, squeeze, open out through the chest, shoulders back, powering up with the glutes, and back down again. So this is a little hip thrust exercise, getting some nice work into the lower body, so squeezing the glutes, using the quads to lift, using the core to control that lower, and we're getting a nice mobilization and stretch through the chest. So nice moving balance, stretching out through the chest, engaging to lower. So a little bit of active recovery after that little Superman. We're thinking about control, so squeeze and lower. Of course, don't forget, if you need to have the toes tucked here, you're of course very welcome to work with tucked toes as well. So just working here for another 5. So really focus on that power from the glutes, from the abs, and lowering with control, keeping the shoulders down. 4. Engage and press, open out through the chest. Well done. 3. So slow and controlled. 2. And 1. Well done. From there, coming back to your table pose, hands underneath the shoulders, tucking the toes, finding a way to plank. So we're spreading the fingers out really wide here, grounding down with the fingertips, we're back into a plank. From there, we're going to bend the knees. The knees are going to move back towards the feet. The hips are going to hover, the knees are off the ground, we're in this little hover, and then we're rolling forwards, back into plank. So we're moving from this little panther hover, really nice fiery one for the quads, and then squeezing the core, moving forwards. Quads are really important muscles to strengthen for knee health, as are the glutes. So a little bit of focus on that here. So you're welcome just to stay here, moving forwards. Of course, if you need to take it down a level, you can just move from table into a panther hold and back down to a table when you're ready. If you want to make it harder, we're going to add in a little knee drive. So we're going to take this little pulse at the back, working the quads, and then as we move forwards, knee to chest. So little pulsy movements backwards, and then squeeze the core, knee to nose, powering back. Deep breaths in, and out. Thinking about, keep pressing the hands hard into the mat. You want to make sure the shoulder blades don't droop apart. You really want to focus on extension there. Thinking about maybe looking down at the mat between your fingers. You want to keep the spine long. And remember, slow, controlled. Think about the muscles that are working. Think about that core being engaged. Moving with control. Awesome stuff. Working here. Hang on in there. Another 5. So squeeze and drive. 4. Well done. 3. Driving knee to nose. 2. And 1, well done. Dropping down to the knees there. We're going to take a little shoulder stretch. So inhale the right hand up to the sky. Exhale, the right shoulder comes down to the mat. The left hand can creep out in front of you. Just shimmy yourself around. You want to find anywhere that feels like a nice stretch through your right shoulder. So that can be wherever feels good for you. Just have a little play. Close the eyes and breathe into that stretch. Inhaling. Exhaling. Well done. Just stretching in for another 3. Inhale. Exhale, 2. 1 more really deep breath in. And from there, returning through center. Right hand is going to plant. Left hand lifts. Inhale, just a little opening. And exhale, take that left shoulder down. Left ear can come down to the mat. The right hand can creep out in front of you. Just have a little shimmy, a little stretch. Find somewhere that feels really nice for you. Finding that little rotation through the spine. Deep breaths in. And stretching out there. Inhaling. And exhaling for 5, deep breaths in. And out 4. Steady inhales. Exhales 3, 2, and 1. Finally coming back up to plank there. And from there, we're going to find our way to table, engage the core. The left foot is going to lift. From there, we're going to flex the left foot. We're going to move the left foot forwards and back again, squeezing in the core. So we're reaching forwards with that left foot, out to the side and back again. So try not to lean sideways, squeeze the core, really press hard with the hands into the mat, extend and roll back. So we're getting into the side glutes. If you want to make it harder, you could bring the opposite hand out and then return. So we're thinking about either just working that left foot out and in, keeping it high, or if you're feeling it, you can add in those arms. So it's almost like you're moving a Superman out to the side. Should be starting to feel it in that left glute. Keep the core engaged. Keep that left foot flexed. So you're really working into the muscles. So option to add in that little extension by working into the arm, or you can keep both hands grounded. Working here for 5. So getting into outer glutes here, really good important muscle to strengthen for the knees again. 4. Working to the waist a little bit as well. 3. Almost there. 2. 1 more. And release. Well done. Take a little shimmy out. Ooh, that leg's on fire. Hands under the shoulders. Let's take that on the other side. Engage the core. All right, right foot's going to lift. Right foot's going to flex. We're going to move that right foot forwards and then back again. So right foot stays lifted. We're extending forwards and back again. Thinking about trying to keep both hands pressing really hard into the mat as much as you can, resisting that urge to move sideways. Keeping the spine long. Option to add in that hand. So we're almost moving from a Superman. The right hand moves backwards, the left hand moves backwards, as the right foot moves forwards, and then taking it back again. So moving with control, keep pressing really hard. Find that lovely engagement through the glutes. Well done. Hang on in there. Working here for 5. So squeezy movements, try and keep that balance. 4. Well done. 3. This is our final little plank exercise. 2. And 1. Well done. Release there. From there, we're just going to come down to seated. So if it's comfortable, take a cross-legged position. If you prefer to be at kneeling, if you like to sit up on a block here, feel free. Just shimmying the sit bones down to the floor. So we're going to move into some dynamic flexibility and mobility here. So grounding down with the sit bones, shoulders down the back. Inhale, reaching up tall. And exhale, take a twist. Right hand to left knee, left hand behind you. Inhale, lifting tall, keeping the shoulders down. Exhale to twist, left hand to right knee. Once more, inhale to lift, shoulders down. Exhale, little twist. One more time, inhaling to, exhaling. From there, I'm just going to swap the legs over. So the opposite leg comes in front, so we can just find our evenness through the hips. I'm just going to take some lateral bend. So again, we're just finding some mobility. So right hand is going to plant. Inhale, the left hand stretches up and over, left hip grounds, fingers press away. From there, exhale, sweep forwards, left hand plants. Right hand stretches up, stretching out. So press the hip down, reach up with the fingers. Sweeping forwards. Inhale, lift, extend. Sweeping forwards. Inhale. Right hand over. Once more, sweep forwards that right hand, left hand lifts up and over. And final time, left hand sweeps forwards, right hand stretches up and over. From there, release through center. And we're going to take both legs out in front of us. Double leg forward fold. So shimmying back onto the sit bones. Inhale, lifting up tall with the arms, angling the body forwards and starting to stretch out into the hammies. So we're going to get into the lower back and the hamstrings. So we're just going to use this a little bit of prep. If you're feeling like I am today, pretty tight, you might want to have quite a big deep bend in the knees and work into it over time. If you want to use a strap, you're very welcome to. use a strap around the balls of the feet. This is really nice because it means we can keep the shoulders down and maintain length in the spine. So whatever works for you, we're just thinking about inhaling, lifting up, angling the body forward, stretching out. Deep breaths in. And well done. So full steady breaths. Thinking about finding length in the spine, space down the backs of the legs, shoulders are relaxed. Working here for 5, inhaling. Exhaling 4. So feeling that lovely extension through the whole back body. 3. Deep inhale. Exhale 2. One more deep breath in. And out. From there, we're rolling on up, and we're going to take the legs out wide into a wide-legged position. So you're very welcome to stay here. I'm just going to turn around actually so you can see. You're very welcome to, of course, sit up on a brick here or have a soft bend in the knees. So what you want to do is find a position where you can keep the spine lifted. So if you find that you're slumping backwards and you struggle to keep that lift, do sit up on a brick. From there, we're going to take the arms out wide. We're going to inhale, exhale, take the left hand over, and the right hand comes up behind us. So we're inhaling through center, exhaling to twist. So inhale, exhale. We're keeping the spine long here, the core engaged. So this is another abdominal exercise, but one that allows us to find mobility and space. So inhaling, exhale, reach left hand over. Inhale through center, exhale to twist. We're finding length, using the breath. Inhaling. Exhale. So lifting up with the chest, reaching across with control. Inhaling, shoulders back. Exhaling, making sure those shoulders stay down. So this is a lovely way to dynamically stretch, hopefully starting to find a little more space as we go. Inhale. Exhale, lovely stretch. A little bit of side body coming into play. Working here for 5. Inhale. Exhale, 4. Really lift. 3. Deep inhale, exhale 2, and 1, well done, release. Swing both legs out in front of you. All right, let's get some fire on the go. So, planting the hands halfway between the hips and the knees, engage the core, angle the body forward slightly, L-sit to reverse table, squeeze the core. One of my favorites. It's quite a fiery one. We're moving the hips backwards, using the hands and the abs to keep the hips off the floor, and then squeezing the glutes, powering on up. Really slow, controlled movement backwards, and finding that fire, that squeeze on the way up. If that's too much, you can take it down a level. We can take a reverse table, so hands are facing forwards, feet are facing forwards. I'm just going to press up into a reverse table, squeeze the glutes, and then we're slowly lowering down. Try to keep the knees in line with the ankles. Try to focus on lifting and lowering with power. So you're getting loads of benefits there if you prefer to work there. Or if you want to take it a bit further, we're moving it from that L-sit into that reverse table. Thinking about slowing it down. Nice work. Squeezing to lift and coming back. A really great full body movement. Moving with control, with power. Firing up the back body, the abdominals. Working here, another 3, squeeze and lift. Slow, lower back, 2. And 1, well done. Ooh, give yourself a little shakeroo. All right, we're going to move into some lower abs exercises. Starting off at seated, the feet are at the front of the mat, just a little way away from the hips. So as it were, the top of the sit-up. From there, we're going to take the hands to the knees. We're going to bring chin to chest. We're going to squeeze the core, roll down. And then engage the core, roll on up. So essentially we're taking the top part of a sit-up, moving with control, keep the feet grounded, and lift. So you can start off with the hands and the knees. If you're feeling it, hands can come out in front of you. We're slowly lowering down, just as far as you can keep the feet on the floor, and then lifting on up. If you want to take the hands over the head, a little bit harder again, increasing that lever length, and coming on up. Remember, if you can, you might also just hang out a little bit. Make sure you're not compromising the back, that bit where it feels quite hard. You're working really hard through the abdominals to keep that lift, and then come on up. So remember, you want to protect the lower back here. You want to roll down, and it should be the abdominals that's holding you, not the lower back. Lifting up with the chest at the top. Working here for another 5. So Thinking about working this part of the sit-up. Remember, we don't want the feet to lift. We want to make sure it's the abs that are doing the work. 4, inhaling. Exhale. So when you lift back up, you're getting all of that power. 3, well done. 2, and 1. From there, we're going to roll all the way down to lie on the floor. And we're going to hug the knees in towards the chest. So give yourself a little squeeze. Keep the legs and the bum all squeezed in together. So you should feel the lower half of the body is tucked in tight, like a little ball, palms face down by the sides. From there, we're going to engage the core, and the core engaging lifts the pelvis off the mat. So I'm just going to take my hands out of the way. So squeezing the core to lift and lower the pelvis. It's quite a subtle movement. It's that engagement through the abdominals that lifts the front side of the pelvis, and then you're lowering down. The shoulders are staying relaxed, the upper body is relaxed. So it's a really nice lower abdominal isolation. If you find sit-ups are too much for you, this is a great alternative in any class. Really nice way to power into those lower abs. If you want to make this harder today, extending the legs, squeezing, lifting and lowering, increasing that lever length, making it into more of a reverse curl. Make sure the shoulders are relaxed. You're not so much using the hands, and make sure you're not swinging. Make sure you could pause at any time. You could hold at the top, and you can really slowly lower down. So this is really one of those exercises in Pilates where slower you go, the harder the work. And that's what we're aiming for. We're aiming for slow, controlled, squeezy movements. Perfect. Working here for another 5. So squeezy lifts and lowers. 4. Well done. Really squeeze, power up, using the abs, lower back down. 3, 2, 1 more little squeezy lift and lower. Well done. All right, we've got one more exercise to finish this little set. We're going to take it into a full sit-up. So we've done the top, we've done the bottom. We're going to put them together. So options, palms face down. So knees are in the air, engage the core, chin to chest, squeeze the abs, fingertips are on the knees, and they're just floating up towards the knees and back down again. So thinking chin to chest, engage the core. Remember, it's the abdominals engaging that lifts, and you lower down. Option to stay there. Option, hands over the head, shoulders are relaxed, chin to chest, reaching all the way up, sitting up at the top, slowly lowering down. You want to find that same slow, controlled lower that we took in that top of the sit-up exercise. So chin to chest, lifting up, and slowly lowering back down. One. Option, if you want to take it further again, you don't let the hands come out over the head. Instead, you keep them out in front of you for the whole of the way. Takes any swinging out of it. Chin to chest, lifting up, and then lowering down. Really slow. Try not to let the feet ping up here. So we want to keep both feet grounded to make sure that it's the abdominals doing the lifting, not the feet using momentum. So really slow, really controlled. This is all about sequential control of the spine. So it's all about peeling up vertebra by vertebra, lowering down vertebra by vertebra. Nice work. We're going to work into some lower body after this. Working here for another 5. So squeeze into lift and slow lower down. 4. Deep breaths in and out. 3. Lift, lift, lift. Shoulders back. 2. And 1. All right, from here, rolling over onto our left side, straight onto our left side. So we're going to lie on the side body. So you have lots of options here. If it's not comfortable here, remember you can place a towel or something under that left hip. If you find that your balancing is difficult, you can just bend this bottom leg. So we're finding our way into side lying, starting to stack hips above hips, shoulders above shoulders. You can take one hand underneath the head, or sometimes people prefer to have a head lying down, depending on how you're feeling. From there, we're going to flex the top foot, and we're going to press out with that top heel, lift it to about 45 degrees, and lower again. So you really should be feeling loads of energy, loads of work coming into that leg already. You're flexing the foot, that's going to engage all of the muscles. Keep the core engaged, slowly lowering, pressing out, lifting. So working into the inner and outer thigh. Try not to swing the leg. You're lifting and lowering against resistance. We're just going to work here for another 10. 9. So little series here. We're going to fire up these outer glutes. A little bit of work for the waist. 9. Really great way to strengthen these muscles on the outside of the legs. Great for the knees. 3, 2, and 1. All right, that top leg is going to hover just a little bit above the hip. The bottom foot is going to come up to meet it and lower. You might want to point the toes here, a little bit mix up. So we're going to point both toes. Top foot stays where it is. The bottom foot comes up to meet it. Should feel like loads of work for the outer legs. So keep the core engaged. Working here for 10. So slow and controlled. 9. Lifting and lowering. Remember, we're not rushing it. 8. Nice. 7. Almost there. 6. Lift, lift, lift. And lower. 5. So really powering into the outer leg. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Release both toes down. Keep them pointed here. We're going to lift both at once. Lower both at once. So getting a bit of work into the side body, into the outer glutes. Working here for 5. So slow, controlled movements. 4. Really squeeze, lift, and lower. 3. Squeeze. 2. And 1. Awesome stuff. We're going to spin straight around onto the other side. So coming to lie on the other side, and we're going to work straight into that other side. So starting off, the feet are flexed. We are flexing the top foot. Remember, we've got hip above hip. You can bend that bottom leg if you need to. Find that stability. And then we're going to extend that top foot and lower. So you're focusing on that tension through the leg. Should really be pressing away. Feel the quad is engaged. Lifting and lowering. Remember, both sides of the movement, really important. You're not rushing it. You're moving slowly with control. Nice work. Working here for 10. So slow, powerful movements. Really kick out with that heel. 9. We squeeze. 8. Nice work. 7. Power, power, power through the outside of that leg. 6. Almost there. 5. Deep resting out. Core engaged. 4. Keep that control. Try not to wobble forwards and backwards. 3. 2. And 1. All right, top foot's going to lift. Just a bit above the hip, and bottom foot comes up to meet it. So we're lowering and lifting that bottom foot. Maybe point the toes as last time. So squeeze to lift and lower that bottom foot. Try not to wobble from side to side. Should feel like quite a lot of work. Nice. Working here for 5. So slow, controlled movements. 4. Deep breaths in. And out, working into that side body. 3. Well done. 2. And 1. From there, we're going to lift and lower both feet at once. So keeping that point in the toes, we're lifting and lowering, working into the outer glutes, keeping the core engaged. Deep breaths in and out. Well done. Squeezing to lift and lower for another 10, 9, 8. Hang on in there, lowering, lifting. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. From there, we're just going to swing back round and come all the way down to lie on our back. All right, from here, we're taking the left ankle to the right knee. I'm just going to take a little supine pigeon. So nice little stretch, getting into the back of the left leg. Just a little bit of a release after that hard work for the lower body. Shoulders are relaxed. Spine is long on the mat. Deep breaths in. And out. So just taking that little figure of 4 stretch, working here for another 3. Inhaling. Exhaling. 2. 1 more deep breath in. And out. From there, let the left foot continue on top of right. So we've got left stacking above right. And then taking the hands to the feet and drawing the feet in slightly opposite directions. So you should feel just a nice stretch coming into the outside of that left glute. Shoulders relaxed. Deep breaths in. And for 3, inhaling. Exhaling. Back of the neck long. 2. Deep, steady breaths in and out. And 1, swapping over. So right ankle comes to the left knee. And we are taking that little figure of 4 stretch on the other side. So we're supine pigeon. Right ankle on left knee. We're taking the hands through, hugging around the back of the left leg. Finding that big old stretch right down the back of the right leg. Shoulders are relaxed. Back of the neck long. Deep breaths in and out. Inhaling. Exhaling there. Steady breaths. Finding that flow. Inhaling. Exhaling. Well done, working here for 5. Deep breaths in. And out 4. Inhaling. Exhaling 3. 2. And 1. The right foot is then going to continue on top of left, and we're going to take the opposite hands to the feet and start to just draw the knees in opposite directions. So we're finding that lovely stretch down the back of the right glute. So right knees on top of left, we're just drawing them in opposite directions, finding that little stretch. Deep breaths in. And for 3, inhaling. Exhaling 2. And 1. All right, from there we're going to extend out long on the mat, and we're going to take a racer crunch or a variation of that. So option 1, we're going to take the hands over the head, the feet are extended, we're going to take chin to chest, squeeze the core, drive the knee to the nose, and slowly lower away. So we're taking this little cruncher, chin to chest, squeeze, knee to nose, little crunching movement. So working there, squeezing to lift, slowly lower down, squeezing to lift, slow lower. Option, if you're feeling it, we're going to lift all the way up with the torso, take a little opposite elbow to knee, and lower down again. So fingers can be at the temples. We're going to chin to chest, squeeze, take a little crunch, cross crunch there. So option 2, stay with chin to chest, and we're just taking this little half curl through the upper body, and this little single leg crunch, knee to nose. Or if you're feeling it, you can bring the body all the way up, squeeze, take a little cross crunch, and lowering down again. So thinking about that squeeze, that lift, and lower. Of course, if you want an intermediate option, you can have the hands over the head. You can lift all the way up with the torso and reach to the toes. So you get a little bit of help from the arms there, but try to keep it from the core. So that's an option if you want an intermediate option. So just keep working whatever level suits you, squeezing, maybe that little cross crunch at the top if you can, getting some work for the obliques. Wherever you are, getting some nice work for the lower abdominals, back into those lower abs. Working here for 5, squeeze and cross, 4, slowing down with control, 3, remember it's Pilates, you can switch up, you can move around, you can come back to that starting one if you want to, 2, and 1, well done. Give yourself a little squeeze there, a little stretch. And from there, extend the left leg out long. We're just going to take a quick little stretch. Left leg extends, hugging with the right knee. We're taking the right knee across the chest and opening the right arm away. So the right hand and the right knee are extending long away from each other. So we're finding a lovely stretch down the inside of the right chest and down the outside of the right leg. Inhaling. And exhaling, relaxing down there. Deep breaths in. And out. Steady breaths for 3. Inhaling. Exhaling 2. And 1. Swapping on over. Right leg extends, hug in with the left knee. And we're just taking that little twist on the other side. So the left arm is extending. We're drawing the left knee across the chest. Just a nice little spinal release, a nice little stretch through the outside of the left leg. Deep breaths in. And out for another 3. Inhaling. Exhaling 2. And 1. All right, come on in here. Hug in with the knees. And then take the hands to the knees. We're just drawing some nice mobilizing circles with the knees away from each other and towards each other. So just a quick little mobilization for our next lower abs exercise. And then when you're ready, knees are over the hips, lower back is on the floor, shoulders are relaxing down. And we're going to go for a little bike ride. So we're going to extend out, making those legs cycle. Whenever the legs are off the floor in Pilates, you want the lower back to be on the floor. So make sure the core is engaged. And you want to imagine here you're in a really low gear. You're going up a big hill. You really wished you'd oiled your chain. You're having to work quite hard. So you're going to slowly press out, squeezing the core. Really feeling that tension in the legs. Of course, if you need to make it less, you just take it for a little ride, just like, more like you're on a tricycle, you're just taking some tiny little circles. So you could be on this bike that's a bit too big for you, have to fully extend the legs, or you could be more of an intermediate, just work at your level, squeezing in the core, shoulders are relaxed. Working here for 5, 4, so pressing away, squeezing, 3, 2, and then we're going to change direction, we're going to back pedal. So again, the knees are coming to the chest. I always find this a little bit harder, both on the abs and on my attempts at coordination. So just have a little play, keep that sense of control, try not to wiggle side to side with the hips, keep the abs switched on. Remember, little circles are fine. Working here for 5, so slow, controlled movements, 4, 3, lower back on the floor, 2, and 1. Give yourself a little squeeze, little stretch. From there, legs are in the air, lower back is on the floor. We're going to take a little leg flutter crisscross combination. So we're going to start off by fluttering the legs. So we're pointing the toes like we're going for a little swim, like when you learned to swim as a kid. Little pointy toes up and down. And then we're going to take it the other way. So we're going to take little lateral movements, flutters from side to side, like we're doing little X's in the air, lower back on the floor, and then we're going to take it back into those flutters, up and down. So a little combo exercise. We're working essentially different variations of leg lowers. If this is too much, you can just have a bend in the knee. You can take that same exercise with the bend in the knee, lower back on the floor. Or of course, you could also take it into a leg lower, just a normal leg lower, either with one foot grounded or one foot in the air. So your choice. So you can take normal leg lowers, the supported leg lowers. You can take this little scissor, so that's the little X's in the air, and then a little flutter leg combo. Make sure the lower back stays on the floor. Remember, you only have to lower the legs as far as you keep that lower back on the floor. So if you feel that you just lower 30 centimeters or so and then the lower back starts to arch, that's absolutely fine. Just keep working at your level, working into the lower abs here, very close to the end. Now we're going to come to some stretching very soon. Hang on in there. Working here for another 5. So little flutters, up and down, little X's maybe, 4. Squeeze in the core, keep the shoulders relaxed, 3, 2, and 1. Well done, give yourself a little squeeze. All right, we're going to take it down. We're just going to take a little dynamic bridge and then take it to some final stretches. So grounding down with the feet, shoulders are relaxed, pressing the feet into the mat, engage the core, slowly start to peel away from the floor, vertebra by vertebra, knees in line with hips. Slow, slow, slow release down. So we're thinking about engaging the core, lifting vertebra by vertebra, pressing up, knees stay in line with ankles, and slowly, slowly, slowly lowering down. So we're just focusing on control here. The shoulders are staying relaxed. Using the abdominals, using the glutes for control. Remember to breathe. If you want to add in some arms as well, letting the arms float up over the head as you lift and come back down the sides as you lower. Working here another 3. So squeeze into lift, press on up, chest to chin, 2. 1 more. And release. From there, just going to take the arms out wide. We're going to windscreen wide for the legs from side to side. Just a little bit of a wiggle woggle from side to side. And then take a happy baby. So peace sign fingers around the big toes, knees in towards the armpits and have a little wiggle. So knees in towards the armpits, pressing the lower back down towards the floor, finding that lovely stretch through the hips. Inhaling. And exhaling there. Shoulders are relaxed. Little happy baby for 3. Inhaling. Exhaling. 2. And 1. Awesome stuff. So from there, just give yourself a lovely full yawn on the mat. Extend the hands and the feet away from each other. Take a lovely big stretch, a little wiggle, a little shimmy out. Deep inhale. And exhale, relax. 1 more time. Have a lovely full yawn and stretch. And relax. Close the eyes and just take 3 deep breaths in. And down. Every part of the body is starting to release. 2 more deep inhale. Exhale. One more time, inhaling. Exhale. Beautiful. From there, give yourself a little squeeze. Rock up to seated or roll into a ball on one side and find your way to seated. All right, we'll take a final quick little stretch. So interlocking the hands, pressing the palms up to the sky, shoulders down, deep inhale. Exhale. Chin to chest, press the backs of the hands towards the front of the room. Find that lovely stretch through the upper back. Deep breath in. And finally have a little shoulder roll, a little shimmy out. And have an absolutely awesome rest of your day. Thank you all so much for joining. And I'll see you all soon. Namaste. Super good job. Well done.